Public benefit systems will now require national biometric ID enrollment. Benefits will be restored upon chip implantation.
They're making us choose.
Open it up! We need food! It's gone! EBT don't work nowhere!
Power grid outages are continuing across the officials urge residents to remain. That's it. They really cut us off.
Mama, is this all we got?
To continue receiving nutritional credits, citizens must verify identity via implantable BioID. Please remain calm and follow the directions of registration officials.
Can you run it again?
It's not taking any of them.
Did yours go through? All the cards are down?
Hold still. No chip, no eggs.
But I just...
Move along, ma'am.
Come on, baby.
Shalom. First off, want to start up by saying all praises, honor, and glory is to Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai, by Hashem Rakar Kadash. Is all praises to the world calls God. His true name in the Hebrew is Yahweh, by Hashem meaning in the name, and Yahushai being the name of the only begotten Son. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Peace and mercy to the whole elect. I'm the brother Tazabah in the Arizona camp, GMS Arizona. Lord will with another video to edify.
Systems will now require national biometric.
I wanted to go in on this, right? On the fact that this system is coming, coming up,
to get everyone.
right? And this dude actually does a pretty good explanation of it because it's just true, right? They're pushing forward this whole system. They're tying in with the medical, and it's so encompassing, like the scripture says. Let me get it, man. It says, Second Thessalonians 2:4 says, I'll start at 3. It says, let no man be deceived by any means, for that day shall not come except there come a falling away first. And the falling away happened in 70 AD, when Jake, the Israelites, more specifically the southern kingdom, had to flee from Roman persecution, right? A lot of them went into the west coast of Africa and other places, mainly west coast of Africa. And from there, Jake went in all type of slaveries and captivities and everything like that, from the Americas, Puerto Rico, the Caribbean islands, all that. Jake was in captivities under all those kingdoms, all those, not kingdoms, but all those places. Jake was in captivity. It says, except there come a falling away first, and that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition, and this devil's been revealed. It says, who opposeth and exalted himself above all that is called God, or that is worshipped, so that he is the Most High, sitteth in the temple of the Most High, showing himself that he is God. And that's what he's doing. And this whole CHIP system is nothing more than him. That's trying to oppose everything that the Lord set up. He's trying to show himself that he is God. When you need healing, the system that he's creating, you got to go through him for healing. And you need food, you got to go through him for food. Right? The Lord said what? The Lord feeds the sparrows of heaven. Shall he not feed you, O ye of little faith? But this devil is going to take that. He's manufactured the seeds, so they only grow when he wants them, where he wants them, and they don't replenish themselves like they're supposed to, right? He's taking all the water rights. These are all things that came from the Lord, and he's setting up a system that started with the elders and apostles, has been taught what it is. And now we're in the time where this stuff is about to go forward. This is Revelation 13. I'll get in a blue letter. And bros know this scripture, but it's important to bring it up. Revelation 13:16. Start at 15. It says, he had power to give life unto the image of the beast. Now, when you go into that, a simple person to be like, oh, yeah, it's some beastly creature. No, the beast, right? It's going back to, when you go back to the book of Daniel, it talks about what? The fourth beast. Let me get it real quick. Where is it at? Daniel. Daniel 7 and I'll go to 7 and 23. It says, thus he said, the fourth beast shall be the fourth kingdom upon the earth. So when you go to Revelation and it says, Revelation 13 and 15, and he had power to give life unto the image of the beast. It's not talking about no actual animal. Because when you go back to Daniel, the fourth beast is talking about what? A kingdom. So Daniel 7 and 23. Thus he said, the fourth beast shall be the fourth kingdom upon earth, which is the Roman Empire. And right now we're living in the revised Roman Empire. Because this place, America, literally has the exact system that Roman Empire had. It's different than all the other systems that were here before. All the other rulerships are all a monarchy. They had their sons were born into rulership. This is that kingdom that was diverse, like the scriptures say, from any other. You had a senate. It had presidents, just like the Roman system did. You had the two-party system, the publicans and the patricians. Now we have the Republicans and the Democrats. It says, which shall be diverse from all the kingdoms, and shall devour the whole earth, and shall tread it down and break it in pieces. And America has been able to devour the whole earth. They have gone through every nation there is, beating down the people. Now back in Revelation 13 and 15, it says, and he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak. Right? That image is going into a characteristic. Should both speak. And the way this whole thing is being going to be able to speak is through this AI system, man. This is why they're tying in systems like Palantir. Systems like, there's another one, Oracle. Right? OpenAI. That is literally the brainchild of the whole situation. It says, and he calls it that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. So anybody that doesn't want to get down with the system, eventually you're going to be under threat of death. And that's where we come in hand, because that is our position. That even in death, because it is going to be a time where if you don't want to take the implantable C-hip, you're going to be cut off from society. I saw a video not too long ago. They had those ICE agents, they stopped two young Jake. They both told him, we were born here. We're American citizens. They told him where they was born. And then they said, we don't have ID on us. And he looked at his partner, and the ICE dude looked at his partner and said, hey, you got the facial recognition? And they scanned their faces. So when this thing really comes, you ain't going to be able to fake whether or not you got the MOTB or not. Because you'll be in their database. This is an encompassing system. It says, verse 16, it says, and he calls it all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive the mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. And this is where you got to start looking in the words. Because without you actually looking into the words to understand this, you'll never get the full understanding of what this is. Now, this is 2nd Esdras, the first, it might be Esdras, the first chapter, and a prologue of 1st Esdras, Salakia. This is in the prologue of 1st Esdras. Hold up, is it Esdras? Hold up. 2nd Esdras, Tobit. No, Ecclesiasticus, Salakia. I ain't going through the prologue in a minute. Sirach, right? When you go to the prologue, the very first verse, Sirach, the first chapter. And it starts about, I'll have it at the top of the screen, make it easier for bros. Starts about here. It says, also himself to write things pertaining to the learning of wisdom, to the intent that those which are desirous to learn and are addicted to these things might profit much more living according to the law. Wherefore, let them entreat to read it with favor and attention, and to pardon us wherein we may seem to come short of some words, which we labor to interpret. Right? So they labor to interpret these words. It says, for the same things uttered in Hebrew, right? Just like some Mexican jokes don't translate well into English. It's just more funnier if you understand the Spanish. Some Spanish jokes don't translate well into English, right? So it says what? For the same things uttered in Hebrew and translated into another tongue have not the same force in them. And not only these things, but the law itself and the prophets. Are we not reading a prophecy? So without you going into Revelation 13 and looking into the words to see what the interpretation of that word was used, like we're going to go through the word mark, you want to understand the full-on encompassing message of the prophecy. It says, and the rest of the books have no small difference when they are spoken in their own language. So with that being said, let's get into this word mark, right? When you go to this in the Greek, because the Old Testament was written in Hebrew, the New Testament was written in the Greek, right? When you go to the Greek, that word mark is the word charagma, right? And this is where it starts painting a picture. When the prophets saw these things, the Lord gave the prophets visions, just like he gave John the Revelator a vision of things to come. They only had the words that they had in their time. They didn't have words like microchip back then. They weren't using microchips. Just like other prophets prophesied of the nuclear missiles. They didn't have nuclear missiles as a term back then. So he spoke in allegories. He spoke in similitudes of things that he understood that those things represented. So that word charagma, it says a stamp, an imprinted mark. It says the mark branded upon horses, thing carved, sculptured, graven work of idolatrous images, right? So that word mark means to sculpt, cut into. That word charagma. Now that word charagma, though, is a compound word. So when you go to the root word of the word charagma, it is charax, right? And a charax, it says a palisade or stake, a pale or stake, a palisade or rampart, meaning back in the old ancient world, what John the Revelator was familiar with were those forts that those Roman military would use, and they would make palisades, cut a tree down, sharpen the edge to a point in a certain way, put it in the ground. So when he saw what was being used on the people to introduce those sea hips being put in people's hands, right? He saw the shape of that. So he said, this is the word that he knew fitted best for that time. Now, but you're supposed to be with spiritual eyes. To be like, you know what? Like the scriptures say, comparing spiritual things with spiritual. Right? So the delivery system is going into the word charax, which is that big ass gauge hyper thermal needle. Now you go to the root word for the last root word, which is grapho in the Greek. Now this goes into the technology side because it goes into what they're going to be using it for. When they're talking about using this thing for medical systems, banking, all this is all for what? A detailed tracking of everything. Now, when you go to the word for grapho, it says to write with reference to the form of letters to delineate or form letters on a tablet, parchment, paper, or other material. I'm going to jump down to the point. It says to commit to writing things not to be forgotten, write down, or record. And that's what blockchain technology is for. That's what Palantir is for, is the operating system for the whole thing. To keep a detailed record of everything. Right? So verse 16, it says, and he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive that mark in their right hands or foreheads. And that no man might buy or sell. Well, that's the main thing that they're bringing in the digital currency for. They're going to get rid of paper dollars. And there's going to be a digital currency. And access to that digital currency, just like you had to have dollars to say that you have money, right? You had to have a bank card to prove you were able to purchase. Well, they're going to get rid of the dollar. They're going to get rid of the bank cards. And all you're going to have is that implantable CHIP. Right? And that no man might buy or sell, save he that hath the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. You see, this is what's coming to pass. And you see how people are bugging out about these food stamps, these SNAP benefits. They want to lean on this place so much. So when they bring the solution that if you get this whole CHIP, you're going to be able to eat. You're going to be able to live, right? You'll get to go back to some normalcy. People are going to sell out for it. But to those that sell out, like the scriptures say, he that consented unto them shall be had in derision. You're going to be fucking destroyed. There's Revelation 14:6. It says, and I saw another angel fly in the midst of heaven, having the everlasting gospel to preach unto them that dwell upon the earth, and to every nation, kindred, and tongue, and people, saying with a loud voice, fear the Most High, and give glory to him, for the hour of his judgment is come. Is that where I wanted it? I think it's down a little further. Hold up. Yeah, it's down a little further. Revelation 14, and I'll start it. I'll just keep reading. It says, for the hour of his judgment is come, and worship him that made heaven and earth, in the sea, and the fountains of water. And that's the message. You better worship the Lord. Right? Meaning trust him. You go his way, not your own way, not the way of these devils. There's going to be a time where you're going to have to walk on straight up faith, where everything's going to be uncertain, whether or not you're going to live or die. You don't know how you're going to eat. You're not going to know. You're going to be in that hour of temptation. We all will. It says, and there followed another angel saying, Babylon is fallen, the great city, which is talking about America, because she made all the nations drink of the wine of the wrath of her fornication. All the wickedness that this place did, all the nations are getting down with this whole new world order system. All the nations, everybody coming out with a digital currency at the same time. Mexico recently announced that they're going to have their own digital currency. All the nations are down with this whole plan. They're just fighting to see who's going to be at the top. That's why the scriptures say, why do the heathen rage? And the people imagine a vain thing. The next rulership is not going to be no heathen rule. It's going to be the Israelites, and that rule will never end. You read Daniel's, is it Daniel the 4th chapter where it goes into the statue? Right? When the feet of that statue was hit, it said that mountain that hit it spread upon the earth. That was the kingdom of heaven. That was Yahweh Shai taking over. Verse 9, it says, and the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast in his image, if you want to bow down to the system, and you want to take that CHIP and receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of the Most High, which is poured out without mixture into a cup of his indignation. And he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. If you want to take part of that system and think that you're going to extend your life, right? hold on to this world. Why do you think the scriptures say, remember Lot's wife? What did Lot's wife do? She looked back, meaning she wanted so bad to be in that old system where she was in Sodom and Gomorrah living among the wicked, got all those goods that she wasn't really willing to give it up. The angel told her not to look back. She couldn't even listen to the Lord on that because she wanted that life that she had before. If you want to look back in that day when this shit is being pushed out and you know, capitulate to these devils and take that sea hip, hey, if any man draw his hand back, you're not worthy of the Most High. That's written in the scriptures. Now it says that if you take this devil's mark, you're going to drink the wine of the wrath of the Most High, which is poured out with a mixture into the cup of his indignation, and he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb, meaning Yahushua. The Lord is going to sit there and watch your ass burn. You take that chip. Straight up. And everything's pointing to they're getting ready to push the system out. This is really our last time to prove to the Lord that you really down. Because, hey, the fact that we came back and a reincarnation proves that we didn't get the victory like Yahushua got it. Because if we were perfect, we wouldn't have any need to come back. But Yahushua is sit down on the right hand of the Heavenly Father and giving us that ability that if we hold fast, we'll be with him in heaven forevermore until he gives us those new bodies to come back down on earth and rule. That's what was promised. It tells you that in Revelations, the 2nd chapter. It's Revelation 2 and 26. It says, and he that overcometh and keepeth my works unto the end, to him. Well, what do you got to overcome? You got to overcome this. Revelation 3 and 10. It says, because you have kept the word of my patience, I will also keep you from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world to try them that dwell upon the earth. And that hour of temptation that everybody's going to have to deal with is whether or not you're going to take part in this beast system. So Revelation 2 and 26 again, it says, and he that overcometh and keepeth my works unto the end, to him will I give power over the nations, and he shall rule them with a rod of iron. He didn't say rule them with a satin pillow. He said rule them with a rod of iron. Iron is the hardest metal there is. Right? Meaning you're going to beat the nations into submission. As the vessels of a potter shall they be broken to shivers. So that's what you're going to be doing to the nations, breaking them down until they get right, even as I received of my Father. That was something that the Lord gave to Yahushua, the ability to beat the nations down and make them submit. This is what we're fighting for, man. You want your spot? I want my spot. We got to earn it and go through that straight gate. Shalom.